concerns would be raised about regulation in the area in the line of planning, that you could get a planning decision for you in one place, against you in another. Is there any specifics, be it for roads, be it for setback distances from houses no more than wind turbines? Is there anything on that you're looking at? The other question, you can answer that first and I'll go to the next question.
Yeah, so key action within the strategy is that we develop guidelines in relation to planning. We've started engagement with the Department of Housing in relation to that. Biomethane is recognised in the National Planning Framework. It's recognised in the National Planning and Development Act. So it is in there already. So what we need to look at in relation to the guidelines is pulling all those various elements together, that local authorities have that information to
hand. And are those guidelines there for us to look at?
Yep. I think there's one's only being signed.
The guidelines as per the actions are in development. They still need to be developed.
And can the Commission see them?
Not yet.
Well, we're still developing them.
Okay. The second question is, how you've stated in your submission about grassland moving to alternative things. My understanding, and I've followed AD for a good while, is that slurry is pretty good, chicken litter is pretty good, but we were out in BIA as a committee, and they said they couldn't afford to pay for grass coming into it, right? And I wouldn't be an admirer of too much grass going into anything because we need it for cattle. The facts are, if I want to build an AD in the morning, what support will I get from your department?
I can jump in there as well, because I know it came up in the last meeting and the one previous. The Renewable Energy Directive sets out very strict kind of requirements for the production of gas for it to be determined sustainable, and that includes that there can't be any impact on food security. There's a certain level of amount of energy crops that actually can go into the gas production. I think in the strategy, I think I'm probably maybe a little bit off my figures, but it's around 0.8 terawatt hours up to around 1.5 of that 5.7 will be from waste based. So that's what's already there, what's already available. Once you try and move up to get to the 5.7, you do have to shift into agricultural. But the heat study was where that target was found, and that was based on land that's already there and available, and it wasn't about changing in practices, it was about maximising practices that are already in place, so there wouldn't be an impact there on that.
I just don't buy that with you, because the facts are, and in studying AD, you need grass at a certain height.
Yeah.
We're not going to go into every 5-acre field for 40 miles around and pull 5 acres. You have to have 500 or 600 acres that you cut in one go, cut second go, cut third go, at a certain height, contractor appointed. That's taking grass out of production, to be quite frank about it, no matter how you dress it up. But I'd like to know, if I wanted to build an AD in the morning, what support will your department in funding?
I'll take that. The National Biomethane Strategy has looked at two support mechanisms for the development of AD plants. The first one is grants, the Department of Agriculture.
Yeah, how much? That's what I'm asking.
It was 20% of the build to a maximum of 5 million. That was the first grant.
And how much of a pocket, how much of a purse is there?
40 million, and that was from Repower.
So that's 8 of them in a year. Is that it?
No, there was 18 projects allocated funding under that.
So some of them are smaller, is that it?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
They range in size.
And in the line of the farmer-led one, and Sean Finan was in here, and we've a very, Brendan Gilley is down near my neck of the woods. He has built one, and it's impressive. The fund for that looks to be very low. 3 or 4 million, is it, or something? How is it you don't encourage more of that?
I might jump in there as well. There is an action, because obviously the strategy was developed in partnership with Department of Agriculture, and it was for that reason as well. It wasn't seen as just wholly an energy project. It was seen as it's also a feedstock production, and there's an action in there around small scale. So looking at what supports might be needed. Yes.
Much is the budget?
There's no grant at the moment, as far as I know, but that's what's being looked at to actually.
No grant.
Not on the small scale side.
Yeah, well, it's open to
Yeah.
all AD developers, but there was limited small scale ones in the first grant. In the second grant round, funding has been secured by the Minister O'Brien in the recent budget. We will look at how we can maybe support or encourage more farm-based AD plants to be built, and basically be looking at that percentage. Can we maybe potentially up that percentage?
So what you're generally looking at is large scale, is it?
No, it's open to all AD developers, all scales.
Yeah. It's just that we see that there is going to be a specific need for that farm-led or that smaller scale. It's a whole different model, so it needs a whole different tailored grant. But there is an action in there to do that.
Is there going to be an obligation? Is there an obligation coming in on the climate action plan that 10% of all gas will have to be
the renewable heat
renewable?
obligation?
And am I right in saying that you have some dream of importing some of that? Is that right?
No, at the moment, it's the obligation will be open, so it's the supplier can choose to meet it. But obviously, the obligation has.
And can they bring it in from out abroad?
At the moment, because we're operating in a single market for EU trade, you would have to allow that. But the obligation, it has a second aim to support indigenous fuels as well.
And would you agree that it needs some bit of a poke in help if at the moment it's 4 cents, I think, per kilowatt hour, as against 16 roughly, that there's a huge difference. Would you think that it needs more funding from government to entice it? Because people vote with their feet, and I know that there's an obligation coming in. When is that obligation coming in?
The heads of bill have been approved by government. We're now into drafting stage, and we're looking to have it implemented as early as possible in 2026.
When is that roughly? Will it be 2030?
No, 2026. We're trying to capture as much 2026.
So the obligation will be on every company.
Thank you. Deputy Ard.
Fuel supplier.